This morning I took out two different cameras. First, let me say thanks for watching. Welcome in. I took out two different cameras. Nikon is what I use, so that's what I took out. If you're a Canon or a Sony user, the only reason I didn't use those is because I don't have those. But I am a Nikon user, and I took out two of my cameras. I took out my D500, which is a crop sensor body camera, and I took out my D800, which is a full-frame 36 megapixel camera. What I wanted to compare was the file size when you shoot in different modes. Now, the full-size D800 and all their full-size bodies, you can shoot in two different modes. You have the full-frame, 1.2 and 1.5, and the same on the DX lenses. But what that means is if you take, and I was shooting with a 200mm lens, if you take the 200mm lens and you put it on a full-frame body, you get 200mm. When you switch it into DX mode and go 1.2, it makes it a 270. When you go to 1.5, then you get a 300mm lens. So when you take that same 200mm lens and you put it on a DX body, you automatically get 300mm of reach. And if you put that into their next size up, you get even more reach, and I don't remember what that one is. So I wanted to see sorry, I had to wait for a racer to go by. So what I wanted to see is what the files looked like in those different modes and how big the file sizes are. Although I've edited them and I've tried to make them look the same, I shot the same shot, left it on the tripod, and then I moved the tripod and I left the lens on there and I just switched the bodies. And of course I got a bonus hawk, and then there was a waterfall, so I got some bonus waterfall out of it as well. Let's take a look at these photos. I'll give you my final thoughts at the end, but I think I took a series of 3 from each and 2 from the crop sensor, and then 3 and 2, since there are 3 modes in the full frame, and we'll discuss it at the end. I'm kind of curious, since I haven't looked at the file sizes. All I did was stick them in Lightroom. They've all been shot in 14-bit RAW, develop them, and now I'm actually going to look at them side by side while I'm editing the video, and I'll give you my final thoughts on the flip side, all right? And of course, there are links to all my other photos that I actually really take my time with. Let's go look at them. Check, test, 1, 2. Okay, there we go. I picked the side of the road, not the most scenic place, but I've already shot a hawk, which I think is awesome. So let's take a couple of photos and see what they look like. Right now I'm already in the 1.5 because I was shooting, as I said, a hawk that went by, and Los Angeles is out that way, and we're going to take a couple of photos of that as well, but I'm going to have to move down there. So for right now, that is Catalina. I've got a little light reflection coming off that way, which I like. Metering shows me my bias is set at 0. And if you're not familiar with bias and you're newer to cameras, that is your exposure compensation. You can go down to bring it down, and depending on your camera will affect your highlights. So if you're shooting over water or clouds especially, bring your exposure compensation way down. It cuts the highlights so that when you develop your photos, you'll be able to bring a lot of those back out. And what I've found in talking to photographers that do portraits and they start doing them outside, they know nothing about that, and so they get blown out backgrounds. Anyway, I remember another thing. Photos are subjective. If you like it and someone else doesn't, who cares? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to my D500, which is an actual crop sensor body, so I'll have something to compare it to on this exact same spot with this exact same mount in the same spot. Same lens too. So let me switch them out. D500 has been switched out, so nothing has changed other than the camera body. Bias is at 0. My ISO is at L03, which is what I think I had it on that one, which is just below the native on both of these. I'm shooting in an f8 with a speed of 500, but it shows it a little bright, so I'm bringing my speed up on this one so that my exposure shows right in the middle. I want a picture of that entire panorama. And back to me, it is freezing. Ha. Just a little photography. Let's head back home and look at these photos. And after that, since I really don't know what everything is going to look like, I'll give you my final thoughts after this. Ready? Let's head home. Come on, we're going to walk all the way. Walking home, I'm going to leave all my stuff right there. So on the screen behind me right there, you see an osprey that I shot today. James and I were out shooting at Lake Balboa Wildlife Preserve, and I'm pretty doggone proud of this. And I shot that with my new Nikon D850, and I'm also excited about this. And the reason I didn't use this in the comparison is because I didn't think that would be fair, since the sensor size on this one is so massive. But in the middle, you'll see that I added a couple I shot when I got home, because I wasn't quite happy with the Los Angeles shots. They're nice, but they weren't a true representative, because that was an error on my part. So I shot close up with a DX lens, and on the full frame that gives you, I think, you divide by, which then gives you, I've got it. It's in there. You'll see the specs in there. You can pause it here and there and see what's going on. I was impressed by all of it, and by Nikon, what they have done. So if you have a full frame like this, and I want to use this instead of a D500 with the same autofocus, I can put it in DX mode, and I can still gain that reach that I would have lost by going to a full frame. Plus, I don't see any loss. I'm just really impressed. I think all I'm going to need from this point forward is one camera for my wildlife, which is the D850, because I can throw it in DX mode, and I'm really impressed. That's why I did this, to make sure I could just have the one. Of course, I'm going to have two, because I like having a second lens ready to go that you can just pull out, and that'll be the D750, which is another one of my favorites. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. You have a fantastic day. Yes, you can hear all the outside and the cold. Hit my mic. Yes, you can hear all the outside in my voice from being outside and this cold not going away. But it's not going to stop me. Anyway, again, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. You have a fantastic day, evening, night, whatever you're doing. Hit the subscribe button. It's down there. Hit the bell. You'll know when I'm putting up new stuff. I'm trying to show you as many photos as I can. There is a link down there to all my photos. Plus, I'm going to put some of these ospreys up here. I'm really, really proud of those. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys. Check out the osprey. And I'll bet if I do something really cool, some cool editing, check this out. I can disappear behind this sign. Watch this. That's it.